What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 podcast. We are officially here and ready to get this show rolling. So I'm looking forward to another great episode like I mentioned earlier. Today, we're going to talk about why the Muslim community is divided and how we can fix it. A very deep conversation, one that, a lot of people would probably say that it's best to avoid just because the sensitivity behind this conversation. But we felt like during this time, especially with it being the 1 year anniversary since what my brother here would like to call the Holocaust in Palestine, not the war, not the genocide, but the Holocaust happening in Palestine. So we felt like that this is a good time to have this conversation, especially now with all the other things that are happening in the Middle East. So first of all, before we even continue on with the conversation, let me introduce the people who are here today. Of course, we got little big bro Yusuf Thabit on the ones and twos. As always, we appreciate him. And today, our guest, it's a one-on-one episode, so just him and I. It's Amad, a.k.a. Emo from Amity Foundation. Go ahead and give him a round of applause. The founder. So we're looking forward to a great show. Like I said, looking forward to hearing what he has to say. And I'm telling you right now, this is one of those episodes you just probably need to get your popcorn, kick back and listen, because he's already started. I had to tell him, hey, how about we actually get this on the show? He was already starting before the show. So inshallah, a great conversation. And remember, we're doing this so that we can have even more conversations and start taking actions together as a community. It's all about unity. It's all about being one. We are not here to bash one specific group. We are here to communicate, to talk, and to move forward. That is the number one goal. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under Oz Media. You'll be able to listen to the show later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. We even now start our own Instagram username, Motivate Me 313, so you can follow us there as well. And you can find all of that on our website at ozmedia313.com. Shout out to the sponsors of this show. We got Jebel Coffee House, Melika Kebab, Juice Box, Hanley International Academy, Royal Kebab, Holy Bowly, and Wing Fellas. Yusuf, let's get this show started with the best juice in town, which is Juice Box. We appreciate them and their support, and then we're going to officially get the show rolling. Shout out to Juice Box. If you're looking for a place with the best smoothies, milkshakes, ice cream, cereal bars, and slushies, then Juice Box is your one-stop shop. You can try things like their Biscoff or Nutella shakes, crepes, watermelon blast, strawberry burst, or mango smoothies. Juice Box currently has 4 locations: Hamtramck, Dearborn, Detroit, and Trenton. So be sure to stop by Juice Box and get ready to leave there with a big smile on your face. You can also visit their website at juiceboxblend.com or download their app at juiceboxblend.appfront.app. All right, Amad, a.k.a. Emo's in the building today. I actually had a couple people tell me, hey, he goes by Emo. Let's call him Emo. I was like, all right, I got you. I'm going to start calling him Emo from now on. But with that said, first of all, thank you for being here today. Thank you for being the person that we have for this conversation, because like I said, it's not something that's easy to talk about. And like I said, we're going to talk about a lot of different topics regarding, why our community may be divided and how we can unify it all together. But before we do that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is it that you do, and what made you want to start the Amity Foundation?
Well, grew up in the South End. Came here when I was 7 months old. Lived in the South End till I was 25, until I got married. South End is what I know. Those are roots that are embedded in me, just like anything else, just like my religion, just like my culture. Grew up there, got married, became a Wayne County Sheriff's deputy, started a local nonprofit to give back to my community. My community is not just the South End, not the Arab community, but everybody within my borders, because that's kind of how I grew up. Very diverse. There's Muslims, Christians around us. Christians are the ones that welcomed us into this country. People don't know that. So those are some of the things that made me who I am. But at the end of the day, it's my South End roots that made me along with my parents. No disrespect to my parents, but my South End roots, which were very diverse with my brothers and my Palestinian brothers, my Yemeni brothers and sisters, that made us who we are today. We hold on to it tight.
So what is the goal of the Amity Foundation? Like, what's your
It's just to make it clear, Amity's not emos. Amity's for the community. Amity's built by the community, built with the community's money, but built with the community's kids and their parents and their volunteer hours. So it's disrespectful for me to say I own it, to take ownership of something that the community built. It's a community-built organization that goes where the community wants to go. When the war broke out in Yemen, they came to Amity Foundation. They said, you know what, let's do something for Yemen. We ended up sending $1 million worth of medical equipment and medical supplies to Yemen. We built 2 bakeries in Yemen, one in Hadayda, one in Sana'a. And we ended up donating to orphanages in Yemen. So then when the port blew up in Lebanon, we went to Lebanon. We built over 75 homes. We went to visit every firefighter that died, their family members, paid our respect, because that's where the community wanted to go. And when the Holocaust started in Palestine, we were one of the first to jump on board and, okay, ask the community, what do you want to do? And they guide us. I'm just a servant. I serve my community and I serve God, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Allah yataqabbal minna, and that's all we can do.
Amen.
It's not about me. It's not about Amity. It's like I tell a lot of these kids that we take under our wing. And when I say we, I say as community members. It's about the mission, not the name. Name is something they made me do. The government. Because we did it for 5 years and nobody knew who we were. But subhanAllah, with growth, there's pros and cons. One of the cons is we had to put a name to our work. To me, I'd rather do it anonymous as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know, but that's who we are and that's what we do. And Amity's not emo. Amity's for the whole community. Whoever wants to do good.
Love that. I love that. And so he's not joking. You know, they're very hands-on at Amity. So just want to let you guys know, Yusuf, you could pop over those flyers, by the way, Flyer 1 and Flyer 2 right now. With that said, happening next Sunday, October 20th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Soho Banquet Hall. Amity is one of the sponsors of this event. Basically, it's an event to raise funds for Lebanon and Palestine. So they're doing another event. Again, they are men and women of their word. They don't just talk about it. You know, they take action. So again, this is called a Truth to Power Palestine and Lebanon fundraising dinner. It is student speakers, and the guest speaker will be Dearborn Mayor Abdullah Hamoud. And again, this is to raise funds for Lebanon and Palestine. Sunday, October 20th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the beautiful and extravagant Soho Banquet Hall. Shout out to Dr. Mosuhuba. They do a great job over there. And the second flyer pretty much shows ways you can sponsor if you're a business or if you want to support. And it is a 501c3 Amity Foundation. So, you know, just know that, you know, you can purchase your tickets, $25 for students, $45 for adults. And if you want to sponsor your business, you can sponsor as well, get a table. Be sure to come out to that and to support, because that's what it's all about being one and being unified. And thank you for helping organize that right there. All right. So with that said, can you give us, speaking of Lebanon and Palestine, and there's just a lot of stuff happening. And I know this is not your area of expertise, but just from your experience, and then also kind of, this is why we want to bring it back to the community. What is going on in the world, and how is that affecting the people around you?
It's got to be one of the most devastating times of my life. This past year, and trust me, it hurts to see our brothers and sisters, not just in Lebanon and Palestine. You can't leave out Yemen. Yemen just got over a war, and they were one of the first to step up. Let's call it like we see it. Our brothers in Syria, their hands are tied, but they're still standing there. Iraq is helping out. And I know, and I hate to go there, but I'm gonna. Where's Egypt? Where's Jordan? Or Jordan's shooting down Iranian missiles who are protecting our brothers and sisters. Saudi, the Khalij. Look at all these Muslim countries. And it's not a Jewish situation. In my eyes, it's not Judaism, it's Zionism. And when we realize that it's Judaism, not Zionism, and Judaism is a religion of peace, we've marched up and down many protests, stood side by Jews who stood for the Palestinian people and the Holocaust that's going on in Palestine and now in Lebanon. But there's a Zionist movement that we can't stay quiet to. And it's coming to our community. I really do believe there's people in our community who stay silent, and it makes me wonder, are they one? Because it's hard for me to stay silent when you see what's going on around the world. I told you before we went on the air, Palestine brought us together. It's our duty as Muslims to stay together. I don't see it. And it hurts. It hurts because I have brothers who are closer than my own brother who are Palestinian. I got brothers that are closer to me than my own brother that are Yemenis. And the same thing with Iraq. How much stronger can we be? Look, right now, you mentioned Soho. We collaborated together with these kids. How strong was it? Coming together as organizations, how much stronger are we? Imagine if we came together as people. But we we would like to bring our back home garbage, that mentality, Sunni Shia, Durzi, Masihi, instead of Muslims and Arab.
Which is the most important thing.
100%.
And that kind of leads us, if you want to just go ahead and continue on, is do you really feel like our communities are divided?
Without a doubt. And it really hurt. Because yesterday, 2 days ago, Sunday, I was, I seen a friend of mine's son who I haven't seen in years since he was a kid. Says, how you doing? I want to get in politics. I told him, okay, good. Whatever you need, let me know. I'll support you, encourage you. I go, but these are other people who might be putting their names in the race. First thing he tells me is, yeah, but I got the Yemeni vote. I told him you shouldn't be thinking like that. Think you got the Arab vote. Don't separate and rely on one sect. You're falling into their trap. And the Lebanese, you do the same thing. But one thing I do give credit to, kind of like the Sud did before the Arab came to this country. They paved the way. They took the bumps and bruises. Lebanese has probably been around the longest. They took their bumps and bruises. But we should come together. It'll make it easier for everybody else. Any resource I got is not Emo's resource. It's our resource. Because if I can't help somebody through my connections, what kind of Muslim am I? My resources are your resources. You pick up the phone, you tell me, Emo, I need 1, 2, 3, or I want to do 1, 2, 3. It's not, I'm not going to waste my resource for him. I might need it for myself. I might need it for my kid. No, my resource is your resource. Because if I help you, what's going to happen? You're going to want to turn around and help somebody else. But that makes us stronger because my bond and your bond, now because we work together, is that much stronger.
And I mean, it's a tactic, it's a tactic from, you want to call it the enemy or the other side, is to split up the people. And, obviously we all know, more people, stronger together. It's harder to shift their mindset or shift the way that they're thinking or the way that they move. So to me, I mean, it's pretty brilliant and obvious that, and we kind of are falling into that trap. You know what I'm saying? And I think that as a community, you know, I was just telling you this before. You know, we grew up in Hamtramck. You know, we're born in Detroit. We grew up in Hamtramck. We just recently moved to this area, and before that, you know, it was never something that I thought. You know, you kind of maybe hear about it every now and then, but it wasn't something that we lived by or lived through every single day. You had your, you know, Yemeni and Sood kind of problems growing up, Polish. We had that. But the Arab, to me, you know, I used to think like we were always, you know, one. And then when we got here, you know, you kind of see it and you kind of hear about it a little bit more. And it bothers me, man, because to me, that's not how we were raised.
100%.
That's not what we are taught. If we are all living by the Quran and really our religion, and I mean, I know I don't want to just break down the Muslims. I just think Arab in general, we should be supporting one another no matter what the circumstance may be, you know, and the stuff that we are allowing to divide us is not more important than who we are deep down, which is Muslims, which is Arab, to be, you know, we're from the same area, the same region of the world. You know, we're all the same people pretty much, you know?
Without a doubt. And I'll tell you a story. I grew up, there's no difference, and I still say there's no difference. I refuse. I've prayed at the Masjid Index. I went to Arabic school at the Masjid Index. I prayed at Mirdani's mosque on Auto Drive. Wherever there's a house of God, I pray. It's sad that they use the term, oh, that's a Shia mosque, that's a Sunni mosque. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you a story. One day my mother had a problem with my neighbor. He cussed her out. She calls me, she tells me, Baba, Jarno, Masakhle. I said, okay, Mom. When I come home, I'll have a talk with him. So it got a little physical. You know who stuck up for me when the police came? The neighbors. You know what the neighbors were? They're all Yemeni. The guy was a Yemeni. The Yemeni people, in general, are people of Ha. And that's why they stood with us. You know, because they know your mother, Khat Ahmar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this next generation's not seeing that. They're losing that. They're losing their roots, just like a lot of the Lebanese are. How do we stay united? What do we do to bring each other together? We're stronger in numbers. If you went outside by yourself and you're getting in a fight, but if we went out, me, you, and Yusuf, we're a lot stronger. Sah wala la?
I agree.
But we let the very minor stuff in life separate us. Instead of the greater good things in life unite us, like the Rasul. Peace be upon him.
I love that, man. And so right now we're just warming it up. Right now we just got the oven. What do we put at? We set it at 350.
350.
All right. So we're gonna give a next shout out to the next sponsor. We're gonna give a shout out to Yusuf. Royal Kebab just officially opened up, and so congratulations to them. They are the sister company of Melek Kebab right there in Dearborn. So shout out to Royal Kebab. Let's give them a shout out, and then now we're gonna really dive in now. You know, we kind of just touched on the stuff, and now we're gonna dive in with a little bit more interesting conversation. So shout out to Royal Kebab, Yusuf. Guess who's back? Back again. Royal Kebab is back. Tell a friend. Yes, that is right. The restaurant that you all have been dying for to open back up is officially back operating in Hamtramck. Royal Kebab offers the same mouth-watering Middle Eastern dishes as their sister company, Melek Kebab. You can order their lamb over rice, combo platters, shish platters, shawarma sandwiches or plates, fattoush and tabbouleh salads, all at the newly renovated Royal Kebab restaurant located on Kniff Street in Hamtramck, Michigan. So be sure to check out their website, royalkebab.com, before you make your next order and see why so many people have been raving about this restaurant. All right, we're officially back. Let's start off with nationalism. All right. And you know, we're going to just throw this out there just so people can kind of know that he's already mentioning so many different countries. Someone might be wondering, like, what is your actual background? I don't think we were able to address that, but not that that matters, just so people know that he's coming at everyone, and everyone doesn't really matter what the situation is, if you don't mind sharing.
I've been the minority in this country, in this community, ever since we came here. I'm from of Syrian descent. My father's Syrian, my mother's Lebanese. I'm guilty by association as being Lebanese, but I'm not Lebanese. I'm Syrian.
So, Yep,
I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off.
you're good.
But I'm a Muslim. Arabi first.
Can we give that a round of applause, man? I like how he turned that one right.
You know, I don't want anybody to get this stuff confused, because that's just another way I say the government, but the greater government uses to divide us.
So let's talk about it, man. You know, you walk around and you kind of see it. You kind of see it a lot where, you know, you got groups of people that, you know, stick with their people, meaning their own nationality, and they don't have that Muslim first mentality. And so what are your thoughts on that, man?
Allah ysamahni right now, but I blame the masajid.
Wow. That's can we get an air horn on that one, man? That's an air horn right there.
Because at the end of the day, you can't tell me love my brother and love your neighbor when you're not sitting at the table together. You know, yes, I'm very involved in the mosques. I support all the mosques. You know, whether it be donations or volunteering or whatever, and all over the city. But unless our imams come together, what good is it? Who's our leaders then? Then it falls back to our self-proclaimed leaders in our community, as we talked before. What makes a person a leader? That's what we got to ask ourselves. What gives you a leader? Because your money, or because of your title? To me, leaders are earned. One of the few people in this community that I will consider a leader because he earned the title is Abdullah.
Shout out to Mayor Abdullah Hamoud, by the way. We've had him on the show. He's always playing in our Chiming versus Dearborn charity game. So we appreciate Mayor Abdullah Hamoud. I agree with you, 100% leader.
You know, he put everything on the line when it happened, when the Holocaust started in Gaza. He continues to put everything on the line. He stands with Palestine. He stands with Lebanon. He stands with Yemen. I mean, when this first happened, everybody would have thought he had the most to lose. SubhanAllah, how God works. He's probably stronger now. He's the most powerful Arab American Muslim in the country.
Wow.
In my eyes,
Yeah.
I think everybody looks at Mayor Abdullah Hamoud, even though he's a personal friend of mine, a little brother.
Yeah.
He's earned the title of mayor.
And it's coming. It says a lot coming from you too, by the way. I bet you he's gonna appreciate hearing that by you calling him that.
You know, he's earned that title, and I can say it proudly as he's a brother, a little brother to me, because of his stances. He never swayed one way or another. You know, people will find things, but he has a strong, what do they call it, right? His accuracy rate in terms of his community is very, very high in my book. We might disagree on some of the things, and we know what those are, but we're not here to discuss them.
Well spoken too, very well spoken, and he's someone that you would want to be a representative of the Muslim Arab community.
In this community right now, and if you told me pick 5 people that can speak on your behalf blindly, it'd be Abdullah, 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 and Abdullah. We just need one voice in this community. The problem is you give them a microphone and everybody becomes a leader. This is not what makes you a leader. It's your commitment to your community. And when I say Abdullah, that goes for our imams. Not all imams in this community have the right to speak on behalf of this community.
I love that. and that's how you kind of straight up address that situation. He went straight to the masajid, start off that one. So I'm assuming you feel the same way when we're gonna discuss the different sects in Islam. That's SECTS, by the way, sectors. So Sunni Shia, man, that's like the long time conversation, long time debates. Every video you'll see comments flying off the charts about that stuff, debates happening, and you just sit there, you're like, man, I'm just trying to make people alive, and next thing you know, you got a whole 1,000-year debate that's happening in the comment section. So what are your thoughts on the different sectors in our community and how it's so being focused, being a main focus in our community?
Like I told you, those are the minors. Our focus, our common grounds is the Quran, the Kaaba, the Rasul, peace be upon him. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Those are our common things. Those are what we need to focus on. Just because I'm Shia and you're Sunni, what makes you... Are you any less of a Muslim? I don't look at you as any less of a Muslim. Who am I to judge? Rabbna subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge. Sah wala la?
I agree. We are in no position to judge.
We are not to judge. But the problem is the people that debate are the people that don't have the knowledge either. They're not the ulama. You don't see the ulama sitting with, like you and I in debating the religion. But why would I debate with you religion if I might hurt you or you might hurt me? Then that becomes un-Islamic. I believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. We're Muslims first. We can respect the Christian and the Jew, but we can't respect the Sunni and the Shia. And that's the truth. And that's the problem here. And what's happening here in our community is there's becoming radicalization on both sides. And I've seen it and heard it on both sides, and I felt it. I had a guy tell me straight to my face. He tells me, Assalamu alaikum. You probably heard the story if you watched one of my other podcasts that I was invited on. He goes, Assalamu alaikum. I go, alaikum assalam rahmatullah. And I'm wearing a uniform. I'm working at the sheriff's department. I'm at work. He goes, Sunni or Shia? Get up. I looked at him. He was about 20 yards away. And there was people in the hallway. I got up, you mother effer. I walked up to him. I go, what do you know about Sunni or Shia? He goes to me, well, they tell me Shia are not real Muslims. I go, whatever jackass told you that is not a real... I go, who told you that? He goes, the imams at the mosque. I go, you go tell those imams they're not real imams. Anybody that separates us is not a real imam. On both sides.
I agree, man. Like I look at this issue as we are looking for an excuse to not come together, but be separated. And that's obviously like the easy scapegoat that people can have. And if you honestly want a community that's united, that's one, look at it like it's like an onion, right? We have to address the outside issues, the issues that are real issues in front of us. The Sunni Shia stuff is what we're holding on to, when really we have teenagers who are overdosing. We have families who are coming from their home countries to this country to flee, and they have no place to stay. We had a show last year about homelessness, and it's happening in the Muslim communities, and nobody's talking about it. You know what I'm saying? We got issues of marriage, divorce rates, mental health. But what are we focused on? Something that ultimately, like you said, we're not going to change someone and how they view stuff. So let people be. Let people believe in what they believe in. Let's be a community. What's the most important thing? Like you said, we're Muslims. We follow the religion of Islam. And so peel away. Before we even address those deeply century, ancestor situations, let's talk about the stuff that's in front of us. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that you're talking to, you don't know that person might have went through a episode where they probably tried to hurt themselves because of depression, because of mental health.
100%. how many Sunnis know enough about Ahl al-Bayt, and how many people, Shia, know enough about the Sahaba, where they're experts. You might be able to frost the top layer, very minimal. Don't touch it. Respect one another. You'll sit with a Christian all day. We'll have nothing but love and respect for one another. But Sunni and Shia sit together, they're going to start bashing each other. Everything automatically is a debate or talk about it. You pray like this, I pray like this. You know, and then they start knocking one another. I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, it's a conversation that, you know, obviously it's you know, people when they start having, it's one of those uncomfortable ones that you kind of wish was just never was started. But I mean, I just think it's important to address it, man. I think it's important for people, and it's great that, you know, as a Sunni and Shi'i right now sitting together, that we can have this conversation and let people know, like, there's genocides and holocausts happening in our home countries. There are people dying as we speak right now, who are living in tents, and kids not going to schools, and this is what we call this first world problems. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's third world problems and there's first world problems. Right now we're laying down, we're having a nice conversation on these couches, and we're gonna go home and you know, sleep on a bed and have food to eat, and yeah, that's the issues that we're addressing. You know, and imagine how much we can get done when we push aside these unnecessary situations that we're having right now as a community. So, you know, I thank you for being here, man, and having this conversation and addressing it, and you know, it's something that's important to talk about. And I know we're just kind of touching on it. You know, there's deeper conversations to have, but again, let's focus on the conversations that we should be having. Let's focus on our community. Help your people first, right?
100%.
Isn't that what we're taught?
This
Before
is
you
home.
can even try to, yeah, this is our home. Before we even try to help people back home, help the people next to you first. And then you'll see the ripple effects. You know what I'm saying? And it'll lead eventually to back home. So I guess whenever you do see people arguing on social media, or let's say it's in front of your face, I know you kind of addressed a situation earlier, but you know, what's your reaction? Like, what goes through your mind when you see people having these very detailed discussions, like they're professors, or like you said, you know, they're imams, or you know, the ulama that are supposed to be having these, or at least just teaching the community? Like, what do you think? What goes through your mind?
I try to distance myself from it, from being in those circles. Why would I hurt somebody's feelings? Somebody, especially to his face, he may be my brother, but behind my back, I want to bash his beliefs. What's that make me?
A non-believer to me. That, you know what I'm saying?
Muslim, you're right.
Yeah. You know, honestly.
A hypocrite.
Hypocrite, which is the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you guys really are you know, followers of the religion of Islam, is that's something you don't want to be. I can tell you right now, as a hypocrite. So shout out to my man Emo over here, man. I appreciate him for coming on and again addressing these kind of conversations and issues, and you know, that's what it takes, man. And sometimes it starts with the discussion, right? You know, that's the first step, and then we can start taking action right after. Yusuf, we're gonna go ahead and give a shout out to another sponsor. So let's give Wingfellas a shout out. We appreciate them and their support, and then we're gonna keep things rolling. Shout out to Wingfellas. Do you know what goes perfect with the big game or your favorite TV show? Some deliciously tender wings from Wingfellas. Wingfellas Restaurant is home to the best wings in Michigan. With over 20 different sauces and seasonings to choose from, you can make sure every wing order you make caters to your taste buds. They have 7 different locations in Michigan. They have a location in Dearborn, Southfield, Detroit, Belleville, Wyandotte, Flint, and Taylor. So no matter where you are at in the state, Wingfellas is your one-stop shop for some fall-off-the-bone wings. Also, be sure to visit them at their website at thewingfellas.com. Again, shout out to Ahmad Emo over here, sharing the knowledge that he has and speaking from his heart. You can tell when somebody is like that prepared, or you can tell somebody that's just talking natural, and that's kind of what's coming out right now from Emo. So shout out to you, man. And so we kind of mentioned division in our community. Do you ever seeing it going away? And I hope your answer is yes. And if so, how or what do we need to do?
I wish I can say yes. And if it is yes, not in any time soon. Takes me to Palestine. Like I told you off the air, Palestine united us. What's going to keep us together? When the bombardment started in Lebanon, people who never spoke out about Palestine have become, pray for Lebanon, pray for Lebanon. You should have been praying for Palestine and Lebanon and Yemen, for the whole Middle East, because they're all reaping it from Israel. But they didn't want to jeopardize their resources, their connects, their friends, their Zionist friends, for Palestine. But now it's their people. Let me speak out. But I won't. Some of them won't even speak out. Well, instead of speaking out so I won't hurt nobody's feelings, I'll just hold fundraisers. I'll collect money and I'll donate to an organization that's going to take care of these people. Sometimes your words, your stance is worth more than money. Money in this community is not an issue. We're blessed to have a community second to none. They'll raise money with a drop of a dime. Speak out. Self-proclaimed leaders. You're worried about your friendships, your connects, your state, at the state level, at the city level. And the ones that we don't want to speak, that do speak, and I hate to go that route, they're endorsing the Democrats and the Republicans. They're both controlled by the same people. You idiots. You're supporting a Democrat, you're supporting a Republican. On both sides. You know who's controlling both of them. We weren't born yesterday. You think if a Republican's office is going to be any better than it is? Your people are still going to get bombed and killed. There's just going to be more money in your pocket. With a Democrat, they're getting bombed and you're broke. But at the end of the day, they're being controlled by the same party behind the scenes. Wake up. I'm not a political genius, but those are my views. So when somebody tells me, yeah, I endorsed, so-and-so endorsed Kamala Harris, and so-and-so endorsed Trump, them the jackasses. Any Arab that comes out and endorses any one of those jackasses is a jackass themselves. Because at the end of the day, they're both being controlled behind the scenes.
I mean, to be honest with you, they're probably pretty upfront with it too. To be at this point, like there's ads that are like just straight up that bring up, their support of Israel and AIPAC and all that other stuff. So it's like it's one of those things where it's not even behind the scenes anymore. I feel like
No.
And so it's crazy. It's crazy out here, and you know what I tell people, and listen, wallah, alhamdulillah for everything, alhamdulillah for the United States for what it's given us the opportunities to speak up, and we are allowed to say what we have to say. But one thing is for certain is that I tell people that this was never our country, in the sense of no matter what we say or do, there's history and history books that tells you where America stands in certain situations. And unfortunately, I don't want to be, pessimistic, but I don't see that ever changing, So, and again, I'm saying this with great appreciation and gratitude for being, here. And, I tell people that this is my country, but if you're talking about certain stances and certain things, it's not going to change.
We're not expecting it to change. But let's be honest. How many billions of dollars have we sent to Ukraine and U.S. and Israel? How much did they give the hurricane victims in down south? $750?
Yeah. That's from FEMA.
That's from FEMA. $750. But how much have those two wars costed this country? Listen, this country has given us opportunities our own countries won't give us.
Yeah.
And never gave us. That's why we're here. And we're not asking them, don't support Israel, go become pro-Lebanon or pro-Yemen or pro-Palestine. We know that's not going to happen. We're being realistic. But we want peace.
Be the peacemaker.
Be the peacemaker. You're the powerhouse.
Typically, that's how it works. That's how it even works, with the Arab communities, right? You go, if you need a peacemaker, you go to the respected, the elder, the one that, so it's like the leader. It's kind of exactly, that's what we want. We want the USA to be that peacemaker.
The peacemaker. You sent $8.7 billion to Israel, and then you wait a couple, maybe 100, 150 million to Lebanon for humanitarian aid. Does that really get there? Are they allowing it to get there? Do we know? How did the Yemeni people starve? How bad did they starve during that war with Saudi Arabia? How much were they funding Saudi? How much were they funding Israel to what they're doing to Lebanon, to Palestine?
Yeah, that's why as a community...
We just want peace.
Yeah.
We're not looking for you to take sides. Just put an end to it, not fuel it. You don't think they could have ended the war in Ukraine? All they did is dump more money into them. They never tried to talk.
Peace talks. Yeah. And that kind of goes with the idea of like more wars mean more money and, all that other good stuff. And then, you're walking into a huge conspiracy, some people might call it, but, it's just deep. It's very deep. And so, again, bringing it back to the community, right? We're talking about the world as a whole, but when we bring it back to the community, again, I'm going to reiterate this. This is why it's so important for us to stick together. And this is not for anyone that's non-Arab or non-Muslim that's watching this, like, oh, only the Arab want to stick together, the Muslims. No, it's just as a community. That's what, in general, this is our goal, is to be one, is to be together, no matter what your background is, no matter what you believe in. He started off by saying he has Christian brothers and, the Amity Foundation has supported and helped. He's even said this is not a Judaism thing, it's a Zionist thing. So that's the goal. With all the stuff that's happening, we can come together and be one and help a cause out.
People got to realize community is not religious or nationality based. Communities, your borders. That's how I justify community. My neighbor can be Asian, can be African American, can be whatever it may be. He's my neighbor. He's part of my community. People think community, oh, it's Arab American right away. Muslim community. No, community is my neighbor. I'm responsible for my neighbor. The Rasul, peace be upon him, he took care of his Christian and Jewish neighbors. What makes us any less?
Finish this sentence for me. When our community is united, we...
Unstoppable. And I really mean it. A friend, and I'll tell you why. To show you the resources we have in our community. Approximately 2 to 3 years ago, a young lady called me and said, I've talked to several other organizations and they all told me if the only person that can help you is Emo with the Amity Foundation. I said, khair, inshallah. She told me my cousin's dying, needs an artificial heart. I said, that's a tough burden to put on me. She goes, I need your help. I go, what's this? Tell me the story. She sent me all the medical documents and stuff. I said, okay. I thought, I'll help you, but you're going to have to work. She says, no problem. I'll work. I can do this. Okay. So I kept mentoring her. I tell her, okay, you're doing good. Keep it up. We needed to raise $120,000. She got to right around 90, 85, 90, I said, on her own. She didn't know. I was just guiding her. I was motivating her. We raised that money, sent it to Lebanon. The kid got an artificial heart. The heart's good for 3 to 5 years. The day he had the heart surgery was the same day as his birthday.
Mm.
So when I went and visited him, he told me, Amo, you know what? I have 2 birthdays, and they're both on the same day. Fast forward to about 6-7 months ago. Kid gets a visa, comes to America. His artificial heart is having complications. His cousin calls me, says, I need your help. I go, what do you need? What's going on? She tells me the situation. I said, okay, he's on visitation visa. How are we going to get him here? How are we going to get him this heart? How are we going to help this kid? We talk to doctors, talk to anybody that we can. So I called up a friend of mine. And he had no clue what he had done till about maybe 3 weeks ago. I told him, did you know you saved a life? So he put me in contact with somebody else. And I put her with him. And, through the resources in our community, got this kid an artificial heart. He had a full heart transplant, I should say. He had a heart transplant, full.
And it was a
successful surgery. All through connections in our community. He didn't even know till about a month ago I told him that you helped save this kid's life through your resources. And he's never even met the kid. But my whole point is, look when we came together, worked with one another, we saved a life. Imagine if we came together as a whole community. How many people we can reach out to. How many people we can help.
That's what I always tell people, and I used to tell my students this when I used to be a teacher, is that when you are ignorant towards someone else's nationality, background, culture, you're the one that's missing out.
You're limiting yourself.
You're limiting yourself. Like if you're talking about what advice would you give somebody, I remember my uncle. It was very simple, but honestly, it stuck with me to this day. I remember I was just a teenager. I think I was about to go to high school too. I was like, man, what advice you got me? He was like, always have a good relationship with whoever you have. He's like, you don't got to be best friends with anybody, but always keep that good relationship because, basically what he's trying to, it was almost like he was explaining what networking is. You never know, how the connections can get you in life. And you're just limiting yourself. You're going to just stick with your own people, your own nationality. Guess what? It's going to show in your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And like, when you network, when you connect with people, it don't have to just be Muslims. It don't have to be Arab. You are you are allowing yourself to become a person that you probably never thought you can be. You grow as an individual, and so, to me, it's like you're the one that's missing out. The foods. You know what I'm saying? Like the culture, the funds, the laughs. It all comes with being a person who's open to, getting to know other people.
100%. I always tell kids, sky's the limit. When you limit yourself, you'll stay in your little bubble. Now, mind you, I love this Dearborn bubble. This Dearborn Heights bubble. I think it's beautiful.
You want your kids to grow up here, you know what I mean?
It's how you use it. Sometimes it's good to stay in your bubble. It's safety. Security. Our people don't like change. But don't forget where you came from. First thing I told you, I'll never forget my South End roots. To me, that meant a lot to me because that's how I grew up. I grew up six kids, mother and father, and an uncle in a 2-bedroom house. That's being humble. Stay humble. Stay true to yourself.
I agree, man. I agree, man. Go ahead and give him a round of applause. We're not officially done yet, so you're not off the hook yet, all right? Before we continue on, this is a good time, and we got our basically like our final word and stuff like that. So before we do that, again, be sure to follow us on all of our socials: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under Oz Media. You'll be able to listen to the show on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. Again, we also have our new Instagram handle, which is Motivate Me 313. And most importantly, we have our website, ozmedia313.com, where you can find all that stuff and all of our channels. Shout out to the sponsors again: Jebel Coffee House, Malike Kebab, Juice Box, Hanley International Academy, Royal Kebab, Holy Bowly, and Wing Fellas. Thank you for those businesses for their support. And shout out to Emo here. So how can people support or donate towards the countries that are being devastated in the Middle East? I know you have the Amity Foundation. Can you give us avenues and ways people can help and support that way?
We know a lot of people have family overseas who are affected by the war. In Yemen, Lebanon, and Palestine, primarily because they're feeling the brunt of it more than anybody else. To me, and they're all taking care of their families. But when you shop at businesses that are giving back to these organizations, now I tell you, don't shop at only at businesses that support Amity Foundation. Shop at anybody that gives back to our community and to our causes. It's not about Amity. It's about the whole community. So any business you see that's supporting a cause that's to help back home, support it. Go buy a sandwich. Go get your groceries, get your meat. Go get your chicken. It doesn't have to be strictly for Amity. I know there's other nonprofits in the community doing the same work. Support anybody that's giving to our community's causes.
Yusuf, one more time, please. Round of applause. What do you think, man? Is this kind of what you wanted? I mean, did you get everything off your chest? Let us know. It's final word time, man. This is, final chance to say what you have to say.
My final words is let's find, we know what our common grounds are. Let's build off of that and come together as a community. Division makes us weaker. And I'm not just saying I'm just telling you this to appease you. I'm telling this to everybody. Let's all come together. We could do more. We're stronger united than we are divided. Don't let the back home mentality break us down here. And I know, growing up, some of the things that are being said between nationalities and stuff, it's all petty. Don't let a few bad apples ruin it for all of us. Because believe me, there's more good in this community than there is bad. But a message to all the people that stay silent and are good people: you're no better than the bad. Because being silent is not helping the cause. If you are a good man and really cared about this community, staying silent is not helping us. If you have any influence, it's not going to help us by staying silent. Let's bridge these gaps, which are very small, and grow.
I'm going to tell you this right now. As a Sunni Muslim, at the end of the day, everyone and anyone is my brother, is my sister, and that's how the way that we should all be looking at it. And that's, to me, so much energy and people's hate. Like, when you're mad at someone and how you feel that type of, how it drains
draining.
you. Yeah, it drains you. It's like, dude, let it go, man. Let it go. Like, you enjoy life so much more. And I'm telling you, you're missing out. You're missing out because there are great people, like you said. There are far more great people. It's all about perspective. When I hear people be like negative, I sit there and I'm like, man, I feel bad for that person because they don't see life for what it is. All the stuff that's happening, let's be honest, as Arab and as Muslims, we kind of almost knew this was going to happen in a way. This is all maktub. Everything is written. So it's all about your perspective on it. Like, how are you going to address it? How are you going to handle it? As one, or are you going to just do it as an individual, or, a certain group, or a certain, group of people or nationality or sectors that you want to stick with? Guess what? Your perspective just, it became...
You're lost.
Yeah.
But to piggyback off of that, the events that took place the last 2 weeks, Lebanon, I really do feel they see the power when we're united. How much stronger we were united. And then look, they sucked the air out of us.
I agree, man. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, like you mentioned, it's all about being together. You think of a minor level where you might have a group project, and only one person is working on that project. How much work that person has to do. But when you have 5 or 6 people working on that project and everyone's doing their part, you get it done like this.
100%.
So, I'd rather have 20 people than 5 people in anything that I'm doing.
Everything in life.
Yeah.
Everything in life.
100%. So, that's what it is, man. And again, today's conversation was all about basically why the Muslim community is divided and how we can fix it or how to fix it. And, Emo, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on today, man. The mic is on you, man. We're going to let you close out the show or however way you want to, man.
First and foremost, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. I want to apologize if I have offended somebody, because at the end of the day, إذا غلطت حدا and I offended them, that's un-Islamic, and I apologize.
Forgive us both.
To me, sometimes you got to hear the hard truth to bring us back together. It's like they say, take 2 steps back before you can take 3, 4 forward. At the end of the day, I love all my brothers and sisters. Sunni Shia first and foremost, and my Christian brothers and sisters. So to me, religion, race is not a factor. It's not an issue in my life. It's humanitarian. At the end of the day, that's what we got to focus on. What positive we can bring to this community. And as a community, we need to stand strong with one another and support one another. Right now, we're getting ready to drop sweatshirts. And I don't know if you've seen the sweatshirts we sold during Ramadan for Palestine. We're going to drop another set of sweatshirts, inshallah, soon with Conceal the World to raise money for Lebanon. And our goal is no less than $75,000.
Oh,
and the true test is going to be here. We all Palestinian. We all stood with the Palestinians because we believe in that cause. And we sold out of those shirts in less than a day, maybe 2 days tops. How many people are willing to put the Lebanese flag on their sleeve for the cause? And I'm willing to say, I'm excited to see. Because deep down inside, right now, you put me in any room, I'm like a chameleon. Any room you put me in, I'm from that. Put me with the Lebanese, I'm Lebanese. Put me with Syrian, I'm Syrian. I love everybody. I blend in with everybody. I treat everybody the same, with the same respect and love. I just want everybody to give it to one another back that same way.
And as a person that does that, that just makes you want to give back even more, man. It just energizes you, man.
So inshallah, once we break out that with these sweatshirts, I'll come to you and see if you can give us a plug and see if we can get these kids, raise some money to do Amal Khair and help the people in Lebanon. As we still haven't forgotten our brothers and sisters in Palestine, we're still working there too, alhamdulillah. But it's sad that we have to work it. I wish it was a better place on this earth.
Yeah.
I really feel sorry for the youth being raised in this world and the youth and the kids being born into this world right now, because it doesn't seem bright right now.
But you know what? In every situation like this is an opportunity. And then
100%.
take this as a test. I know this is not the world that you would want your kids or anyone growing up in, but this is all an opportunity. This is all a test. This is all a test. You know, I'm going to say this again, and we had Connie and Summer Humaid on the show, and they interviewed a Palestinian person. They're like, you know, why do you feel like you're being tested? He's like, we're not being tested. It's you guys that are watching are being tested. We've already passed our tests. So what are you doing to help the cause? What are you doing to support the cause? So ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, just know this all happens for a reason. It's all written. What are we doing about it as a community? So,
And that's the thing. I'm sorry, I know you gotta go.
No.
But that's the thing. It's a sick world we live in right now. We're watching people get slaughtered, carpet bombed. You name it's happening back home. How do we fix it? And we're not going to fix anything unless we come together. To me, being fellow, it doesn't matter your nationality. We need to come together as humanitarians. If the people in Lebanon and Palestine were animals, this would have been over with. If there were dogs being slaughtered like that, this all would have been over with. And there's no doubt in my mind. People have no rahmah, especially for us. Forget life, for us. Because at the end of the day, when people are together, when they're together, you're not a Yemeni, I'm not Lebanese or Saudi or Sunni or Shia or you're Palestinian or Iraqi or whatever. We're all one, we're all Arabs.
Mm-hmm.
They categorize us as all Arabs. So why are we dividing ourselves? Why are we dividing ourselves as Suri, or Yemeni, or Palestinian, or Lebanese, or Sunni, or Shia, or Dirzi, and Masihi?
Because 90% of the world looks at us like
one. We're one.
Arab.
But we look at ourselves as different.
That's a great question, man. That's a great way to have people thinking before they shut down the show. Shout out to little big bro Yusuf T again on the ones and twos. Shout out to Emo. Of course, you got myself, Omar T. This was another episode of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 podcast. Go out there, go make a difference. Use your voice, use your resources, and go help someone out. And that's what it's all about being a great neighbor and all about being a person with a broader, greater community. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.